Yes! 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 No! 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 Fuck! Shit! Cunt! Balls! Oh! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god, man! You cannot be serious. You cannot. You're taking.
Yes, 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 Robin fight. Yes, 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 yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce that this has been the fight we have all been waiting for. This has been the greatest fight in all of Onigashima thus far. It has been spectacular. It has been amazing. The choreography was top notch. The flashbacks, just Robin. Yes, I love it. Yes, it was perfect. I have no complaints. But before we get to all that, we need to address a little thing in the chapter that was at the beginning, and that was the cover request. Now, I don't usually go over the cover request, but this one was a little bit special. So in the very unlikely chance that you did not catch this reference, it was actually a callback to this scene.
みっともねえな。一体何を思い出して泣いてるんだよ、兄弟。いつかまたどこかで会ったら酒を飲みながら話してくれよ、ルシアンって女の話を。
Yeah, but when you actually compare this scene in the anime, or like this scene in general, to the actual cover request itself, I find the contrast to be really funny, because in one scene it's all serious, and then the other it's all lighthearted and Frankie's crying his eyes out. It's just really funny. But I'm kind of sad that we won't actually get this in the canon story. I was thinking that maybe one day later on, I don't know how it would work timeline wise or what kind of circumstances will be there for them to meet each other again, but I would have liked them to have that conversation and sit down and actually see that in play. But I guess we won't be getting that, but at least this is good enough. Now on to the actual chapter itself, and I'm proud to announce that for the most part, this was all a fight chapter besides the last 2 pages or so. And Robin Chuan really needed this. It was such a great fight, and for it to be, well, in my opinion, the best fight out of all the Tobiropo, this was well deserved. The fight starts out with a new technique that we haven't seen Robin use before, and this was Sea Serpent. Now, this technique was actually really reminiscent of Luffy's snake shot technique that he used back in Fishman Island, as both of them have very similar imagery, though obviously the practical usages of them are different, as Luffy's snake shot technique kind of shocks the opponent while Robin's basically just holds them down. But I thought it was a pretty cool, I wouldn't say callback, it was just like probably a coincidence to be honest, but I thought it was kind of cool nonetheless. Speaking of Fishman Island and callbacks, there was actually one later on in the chapter where we have Robin fighting and she begins to reminisce about her training pre-time skip, and where she was training with the Revolutionary Army and Koala and Sabo, and it was actually neat to see her thought process in all this and how she actually developed her new techniques, like the one we saw on Fishman Island where she used her Giganto Estomano to push back the ship. It was actually cool to see that because we never actually got to see the full extent of her capabilities. The most she did was make clutches and like grapples and twists and turns, but she never used her ability in that kind of unique scenario. So I think it was cool that we got a callback to that and how her training actually developed these new techniques. Let's shift gears a little and talk about Black Maria now, because I don't feel like she's discussed enough, and I guess that's kind of warranted because out of all the Tobiropo, I'd say she's the least interesting, at least in my opinion. But I like the display of abilities she had. She had like the web fingers, I thought that was pretty cool. And then the poison spider legs, you'd think that it'd come from the fangs or something, but I guess that works as well. And then the spider itself breathes fire. Now, I'm not sure how this devil fruit works exactly, because it doesn't exactly go with the whole flow of Zoan abilities that we've seen in the past. Like, it seems like the spider is its own sentient being, like more akin to that of a smile fruit rather than an original devil fruit, right? Which brings me to my next point, which was that last chapter review, I said that if this fight continues on in this chapter, then the other Tobiropo probably won't get up, because this feels like a conclusion, right? But now that I think about it, Black Maria, we haven't actually seen any other transformation from her. I doubt that Oda will just not show her hybrid form, or if this is her hybrid form, then what's her full Zoan form, for example, right? I don't think Oda would leave that a mystery, but at the very same time, this could very well be the end. If it does feel like a conclusion compared to the rest of the Toby Robo fights. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility of them being out of the count just yet, but it seems a lot less likely now. Now let's talk about something a little spicy, alright? Robin's transformation. What the Robin, bro, what is this? What is this? She became a fucking demon. My girl is on fucking demon time, bro. Like, okay, frankly, look, I'm not even gonna begin to understand why this works, how it works, or why is it the thing that she's doing the way that it is. I'm not even speaking English anymore, okay? Frankly, I do not give a flying fuck. This is cool as shit. In all seriousness though, this definitely has to do something with her Devil Fruit Awakening, right? I can't think of anything else that it could be. Like, what else would make her transform into this demon? Because if you take a look at what she's actually doing, it's not like she's sprouting this body or demon somewhere else. She literally became the demon. I don't know, maybe she like sprouted arms on herself and she got bigger. I don't know how it worked exactly. But hey, it's badass, so I'll take it for what it is. I've also seen a lot of people say that what Robin is doing here is utilizing Armin Hockey, but I don't believe that's the case. First of all, if it was, I think it would have been highlighted more, but that's not really even the point of the scene. The point of the scene was to show that demonic aura that Robin has, and that's reflected through Oda's use of shading here, and that's definitely not Armin Hockey. Second of all, if it was Armin Hockey, there would really be no point in using it in this situation. Robin is grappling the person down and binding them. What is Armin Hockey gonna do, right? It's not gonna make her stronger. That's not what it does. Maybe it gives some defense or hardens her body, but that's not really anything that will help her in this situation. So that's why I think it's not Armin Hockey. But hey, if it is, I'll take the L on that one. But I have yet to be proven wrong. Prior to this scene though, we had Robin like fist palm the ceiling to put out the fire instead of relying on Brooke. And I like how Brooke was kind of leaving Robin to her own thing and believing that she will be the one to defeat Black Maria. It didn't look like he was in a situation where he had to worry about her well-being, so I thought that was a great touch. But Robin actually breaking the ceiling, if you look at the panel closely, it has those same rings that Fishman Karate uses, right? If you look at Jinbei's panel where he hurt Who's Who or used the 1,000 brick fist or any other Fishman Karate technique with his fists, that same ring is always there. And since we had a flashback right before this explaining how Robin learned some of these techniques, I'm sure she applied this Fishman Karate in some way. I don't know to what capacity she learned Fishman Karate in, but I'll just assume that at the very least she knows some basic understanding of how to apply these techniques to her abilities. Now Brooke also takes out the fodder, which was expected, but I'm hoping he has a bigger role to play, like I said in the last review. I don't want his entire purpose here to just be delegated to taking out some pieces of fodder. So I'm sure Oda has something planned for Brooke. I hope he does at least, because if that's all he's got, then yay, I guess. It's not anything interesting, but it's something. Curiously though, Oda decided to give some panel time to this Mary that's onlooking Brooke and Robin's fight at the very end. Now, why did Oda do this? There's obviously a reason for everything. Oda wouldn't just randomly slide this panel in for no reason. So the very fact that it's looking upon this fight means that, number one, someone is watching it or listening. Number two, who could this person be, right? Oda is setting this up for something to transpire later on in the future. What that something is, I'm not quite sure yet, but there's definitely something here that's going to happen, and this is kind of subtle foreshadowing for that. I think this has implications for something bad happening. And as for what this bad thing could be, well, think about it. What's the worst thing that can happen in this situation? Oh, I know, the Toby Robo coming back for round 2, especially after the state that the Straw Hats are in now. Alternatively, it could just be Bao Huang looking over the area and seeing every fight that's going on and probably is going to relay the message to everybody else. That could very well just be it, but I hope it's something a bit more interesting. And yeah, I think I covered pretty much every important aspect of this fight. Now, I'm surprised there's no Yamato this chapter, but there was a scene with Luffy in the last 2 pages, and that's by far the worst content in this chapter, but you know, this chapter was so good it didn't bother me anyway. But, you know, like I guessed, Karibo is being used as a convenient plot device for Luffy to get mate. You know, in Wano, there tends to be a lot of these mysterious power-ups and plot conveniences. Tama, the magical Zou medicine, now this, Big Mom amnesia, etc. All of these together tend to affect the arc's writing quality pretty significantly, at least to me, which does bring my score down for the arc overall, but hey, you gotta live with it, I guess. And, you know, it is what it is for that, but for what's to come, I don't even know if I want to get into this, honestly. It just... If Oda goes through with this, and he's not trolling like I think he is, I think this is just bait, like the Odin thing he did. But if it's not, this could be one of the worst writing decisions, on par with bringing Odin back, in my eyes, that Oda can ever make. Firstly, Shinobu. Nowhere in the entire course of this arc did she mention or give some sort of indication that her fruit has the ability to age people. It has always been inanimate objects or rotting things of the like. Never humans, no aging, none of that. And now suddenly she can. What is this? Well, another plot convenience. Second of all, Momonosuke. What will this do? What will this accomplish? Yes, he will become stronger, but only physically. Mentally, he's still the same. Combat experience-wise, he's still the same. Just because you get older doesn't mean you become like Zoro. Just because you get older doesn't mean you acquire more skills. You'll still have the same experience you have now. You're just physically older. What good would that do? And don't give me the, oh, he's gonna fly Luffy up because he's stronger now. There are 2 points that combat this. Number one, like I said, just because he ages up does not mean he has a better mastery of skill. Just because he's grown older, like just in a flash, does not mean that he'll have like solid command of the flame clouds and he's able to just go up without any worry or anything. First of all, he has to overcome his fear of heights, number one. Number two, he has to learn how to actually put those on command. And he can do that at the age he's at right now. There's no precedent that you have to be old to understand and like use these abilities. Number two, he's already done this in Punk Hazard. Yes, he didn't know what was going on. Yes, he didn't know what he was doing. He was in a crazed state, having hallucinations of Doflamingo, etc. But that's not the point. The point is that he has the capabilities of flying Luffy up to Onigashima right now. All he has to do essentially is learn the skill and conquer his fear of heights. There is no reason for him to age to do this. And mind you, Momo did all this on an empty stomach. If you don't remember, he was in that junk for days and he was starving and he was weakened. He did all this while he was famished. So what does this mean? It means that he already has the physical capabilities of doing what he wants. The only thing that he needs to change is his mentality and having that acquired skill. If aging is all it takes to acquire these skills, then that's kind of BS, because we never got any indication of this being the case. And now you may ask, well, Soul, how is he supposed to acquire these skills then? Well, first of all, he has to go through some character growth. Momo staying the way that he is right now won't really accomplish anything. He needs to change his mindset. He keeps telling himself that, I can't do this. Well, now he needs to change his mindset. He needs to tell himself that I have to, I can, and I will help Luffy go up there and defeat Kaido. I think that's the very first step that Momo needs to take to understand how to use his abilities. And you know what's the crazy part? He doesn't need to age to do any of this. I've seen a lot of people reference certain color spreads. Oh look, Oda foreshadowed this for so long. Oh look, Oda did this, Oda did that. I don't care. This doesn't mean it's good writing. A lot of avid believers in the pro-Momo aging group also follow a certain theory about Momotaro and defeating the Big Oni, or Kaido in this case, with a pheasant, a dog, and a monkey. Now, I'm not against this theory in theory, but some people actually want Momo to fight alongside them. Now, I'm not even gonna begin to describe how bad this would be. I'll let you guys figure it out, because I don't feel like talking about that. That's just abysmally bad. But let's just close the book here for now. If Oda does decide to go through with this, then I don't know what I'll do. Well, we'll have to live with it, I guess, but that doesn't mean I'll be happy to. But we'll cross that bridge once we get there. If we get there. Now, without further ado, here is my chapter score for this week's chapter. 9 out of 10. This chapter would have been a 9.5 out of 10 if those last 2 pages didn't exist. I didn't try to let it bother me too much, but I was kind of annoyed. And going in the future, I'm praying that Oda doesn't go through with this, which is why I'm keeping my score pretty high still. And I'm kind of reserving those 10 out of 10 scores for legendary, so to speak, chapters. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. If you liked it, go down, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more future content like this. And I will see you all very, very soon.